Did you know that My Bump to Baby began as a blog that I started during maternity leave? Now, My Bump to Baby is one of the UK's leading pregnancy to preschool platforms. I'm Carla Lett and I am the founder of My Bump to Baby, and I am so excited to now be able to offer training on how to blog successfully online. You may well be a mum and you are dreading returning to work after maternity leave, or you might want to just work flexibly around your family. You could even be a business and you want to learn how to leverage your blog for ultimate success. Whatever you are looking for when it comes to blogging, I can help. You can join my blogging email list where you'll get loads of freebies, checklists, and everything you can think of when it comes to blogging. You can join my blogging mailing list via www.mybumptobaby.com/blog subscribe. You can also access the link under this podcast. Hello and welcome to My Bump to Baby Expert Podcast, where we bring experts from all over the UK to answer your questions on everything pregnancy to preschool. Today we are talking all about sensory play for babies, and I have the lovely Karen Byrne-Smith joining me, the director of Baby Sensory Birmingham South. I hope you enjoy this episode. Today I am joined by Karen Byrne-Smith, the director of Baby Sensory Birmingham South, and we are going to be talking all about sensory play for babies. So hello Karen, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Lovely to be here.
Oh, we're really excited to have you on here. So, sensory for babies is something that's becoming so popular. I say becoming, it's been popular for years. And obviously,
Yeah.
you own Baby Sensory in Birmingham, don't you? How long
Yeah.
have you had that business now?
13 years. I started by taking my own daughter to baby sensory classes, and I just thought, wow, this is a brilliant opportunity.
That's
So I took it on myself.
wow. And you cover quite a few areas as well, don't you?
Yeah, so I've got all of Birmingham South, Kings Heath, Harborne, Edgbaston, Bourneville, and then I've also got Bromsgrove territory, which covers Barnt Green and Redditch as well.
Goodness, you must be very busy.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
It is definitely. So you certainly are the perfect person to speak to about when it comes to about baby sensory, really. So
Sure.
so I'm going to ask you a few questions if that's okay to help our parents understand baby sensory a little more. So what
Yeah.
actually is sensory play?
Sensory play is any activity that uses a baby's one of their senses. So obviously we've got sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, and it's any activity that develops using those senses. So, for instance, we might do water play. So we've got tactile sensory play, and that's obviously developing baby's sense of touch, and it can be literally any activity that develops one or multiple of the senses.
That's brilliant. There is a lot of benefits of sensory play. Can you tell me a little bit more about those?
Sure, there's so many benefits, and they can literally start from as soon as baby's born, whether you're doing activities at home or you're venturing out into a class. But every single new sound, touch, taste experience, piece of music, any activity is developing neurons in the brain. And that's what we want. The first year of baby's brain development is absolutely vital, and that lays the foundations for future learning.
Wow, that's really interesting. I know, I mean, with the sensory side of things, there's also something called, I mean, parents might understand it, might not, cognitive development. Some of the words
Yeah.
are a bit like, oh, what the hell does that mean? So, what does cognitive development mean? Is that to do with all the brain side of things?
Yeah, in essence, a baby is learning in the womb, but when they are born, they can't process really complex things like thought and memory. So we have to build those foundations. So cognitive development is about how the brain starts to understand those concepts, and baby learns about the outside world, what things mean, even basic examples like looking at things like object permanence. A baby will realize if something has gone out of their immediate vision, it hasn't gone away permanently and it may come back. But the brain is not sophisticated when they're born to understand that concept. So all the cognitive development over time develops, and we start to understand all these major concepts. And by using those five senses, that's how the brain is developing. The sight is developing, gross motor skills are developing, so arms and legs, all to do with the brain sending messages to those, arms when we're doing, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Wow, it is really interesting because as a parent, obviously we've been doing a lot of these things all our lives, so you just assume the
Yeah,
babies will learn it and stuff, but there's a lot more to it. So that is really interesting. And
yeah,
and with the baby sensory then, it's also about physical development as well, really, isn't it?
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
how would it help with that?
So your baby is developing from the head down to the toes, because obviously the brain is developing first, and the toes tend to be the last thing to develop because babies are walking. So in that first year, we're going from the top down, so physical development. So from the brain to facial expressions to maybe reaching up and lifting our arms up. That would be an indicator that babies want to be picked up. Then we might get at 6 months a baby clapping, so we've got physical development, working the core muscles, sitting. That's so important, and that's why we talk about tummy time all the time, because we need strong tummy muscles in order for babies to sit up and stop gravity. So if they're slightly going to fall, if
Yeah.
they've got strong tummy muscles, they can bring themselves back in together. And then also the most exciting time probably is when babies start to coast around furniture and start to walk. So we've got to have strong leg muscles. So the activities that we do are fun, they're physical. Every time we do a physical activity, we release endorphins and happy hormones, and we also reduce the amount of cortisol in the body, and the cortisol is the stress hormone. Let's face it, in this day and age,
Do babies
we've got
feel
that.
stress?
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if mums or dads or carers are stressed, then baby might pick up on that as well. So we have loads and loads of fun, and by singing and dancing and smiling. If you're smiling, a baby's going to look at your whole face and think, "Oh, I'm going to try and copy that lovely smile." And then we get the cooing, the babbling, the gurgling, the giggling. So
Oh.
physical development is an essential in baby's first year, because all their muscles are
Oh.
developing and strengthening all the way.
It was really interesting hearing you say like from the head down because I've never thought about it
Yeah,
like that. My little girl, she's nearly, in fact, 11 months
yeah,
tomorrow, and she's at she's coasting around the furniture at the
that's
moment.
it.
Not
Yeah.
literally at the moment; she's having a nap at the moment. But yeah, it's exactly that. Like you said, the first year, it's amazing. All of the
It's
things that they
vital.
learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The brain is doubling in volume in the first year, so we're filling it with all this stimulus, and it is literally like a sponge soaking up everything, and we're filling it with all these wonderful things. And as I say, every new learning experience, neurons are firing in the brain, and there are trillions of connections going off, and it's like
Yeah,
all the time for
fireworks.
baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant. And then obviously with the baby sensory side of things, it also helps with social emotional development as well, doesn't it? So
absolutely.
can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, baby sensory is encouraging adults and babies learning through exploration, curiosity, problem solving, creativity. But it's that social element of building that beautiful bond between parent or carer or grandparent, and babies being able to be loved in that social environment, it gives them cues on how to perform later on. So we're developing and nurturing the bond and that special relationship between baby through loving touch, through kissing and cuddling and dancing, massage, etc. And our class leaders are particularly brilliant at being role models for, this beautiful touchy feely behavior, because no baby doesn't deserve love and nurturing. And so we want to really promote that healthiness of that social interaction. And then that will later lead on to good social cues when little ones go to nursery and preschool, when we look at things like turn taking and sharing, because those concepts don't come in until about the age of 4.
Oh,
So
yes,
it's
yeah.
really, we have to start really early to build those foundations.
That's brilliant. So obviously we at My Bump to Baby encourage parents to go to baby groups all over the UK, and it's
Yeah.
really important. We think for so many reasons. It gets the parent out. Also, the parent feels like they've done something, with the child that day, and then they can go
Yeah.
on with the rest of the day, etc. But
Yeah.
obviously, there are times where dad wants to get involved and he might not be able to go to these baby groups and stuff. So, is
Mhm.
what age you did mention from 0?
Yeah,
They can start sensory play at home, but what
absolutely.
what type of items would they potentially buy for at home to start this?
Okay, so sensory play can start from birth, literally, and babies are developing right through when they're in the womb. The sense of hearing develops at 25 weeks, so babies can recognise mum's voice. So singing, playing music, right from when baby's born, they'll actually recognise some of those tunes. So it's not essential to buy loads and loads of equipment. You can actually utilize loads of resources at home. Pots and pans and spatulas and plastic tubs, all are brilliant for entertaining little ones. You can use rolled up towels to do tummy time, which is really brilliant for strengthening the muscles. Because our classes now welcome all of our visitors, it's great when we have dads or partners come along to class. And then we can also run weekend specials to get them involved. But I would say, if you want to start with a really good piece of equipment, one of the most versatile things is a basketball. It
Mm.
can be used for so many activities, and it's so cheap. We can do tummy time. We can roll baby forward and backward to develop and strengthen their back, neck, and shoulder muscles. We can do pushing. We can do patting. We can do rolling. We can play hide and seek. We can even do football kicking to strengthen the gross muscles in the legs. So that's my top tip. But
Yes, brilliant.
everything can be used as a resource. And, the internet is brilliant for printing off things like black and white resources, brilliant for visual stimulation and developing the eye muscles. And use a brightly coloured item, whether it's a ball or a piece of fabric, and moving it slowly so that babies can track the item and really help with what's called eye teaming. So getting both eyes working together at the same time, focusing and moving on a single object.
That's
So those are a
brilliant.
couple of
You've
tips.
got some brilliant tips there.
Yeah,
I
you,
mean, the
you
thing,
don't need to buy lots. You really
no,
don't.
and
Save your money.
yeah, exactly. And also go to a baby group where they have all of these, items
Yeah,
available to you to use, because kids love it,
absolutely.
don't they? Olivia, every time we go, she's like looking around at other babies. She wants to kind of get to know the other ones,
Yeah.
snatch things off them and all sorts. But it is really good to do that. So, Karen, can you just tell us a little bit more about your classes,
Yeah.
and where people can find you as well? Is that okay?
Okay, so I run two different classes. I've got baby sensory, which is for babies from birth to 13 months approximately. And then we've got toddler sense, which is our follow on program, both written by Dr. Linday, who's got over 40 years in pediatrics and education. And she's a renowned author. She's written all of our programs, and every single thing is tested before it goes into the classroom setting. It's not just a case of, oh, let's throw a piece of music in here or let's throw some shakers in there. There's research and fundamentals behind each activity. And our classes run all over Birmingham. We've got Edgbaston, we've got Harborne, we've got Bourneville, we've got Kings Heath, we've got Bromsgrove, we've got Barnt Green, we've got Redditch, and Toddler Sense in Edgbaston and Kings Heath. It's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and we welcome anybody to come and try it out. We have lots of parents who are nervous. We have lots of mums who have postnatal depression, and we have research to show that the Royal Obstetrician and Gynecology College really understand the benefits of mums or dads coming out early and trying to engage in things like our baby sensory classes. And it's a real welcoming environment. You know, we'll look after everybody. We're there to chat and make them feel at ease. You'll probably find that you'll make lifelong friends if you come to class. And even if you are the most nervous, please come along. I remember my first class. I remember trying to get my car seat in the car, and it just went horribly wrong. And I was crying on the phone to my husband saying, I'm a useless mum, I can't do this. And he just calmed me down. I went back in the house, came back out again, drove to baby sensory, and that's where the journey started. It's a wonderful, wonderful class, and we've got 60 different lesson plans, so you're never going to experience the same lesson plan twice. We do have some elements of repetition, which is brilliant for babies learning, but we have hundreds and hundreds of resources, from fiber optics, from lights. We do water play, we do messy play, we do singing, we do dancing, signing, everything to develop all 5 of baby sensories, and that's what's most important in that first year.
That's brilliant. You can hear the passion shining
Yeah,
through,
love it.
honestly, and I love that. It's really, honestly, it's a brilliant class, and I think, you know, definitely give Karen a follow on social media as well.
Baby
I'll
sensory,
share,
Brum.
yeah, and I'll share the links at the bottom of this podcast. So if
Yeah,
anyone's got any questions, they can come to you and ask you.
absolutely.
But thank you so much, Karen. That was so useful.
No problem at all. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's My Bump to Baby Expert podcast. If there is a subject you would like more information about, please send your requests in to info@mybumptobaby.com. If you are liking what you're viewing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see more of our videos and more of our updates.